There are a lot of news regarding Trump and what he's doing in America, in the United States of America, as the president, and many things have happened and occurred in the last few weeks, and we are seeing how some developments will go, and it's going to be very interesting. And I want to talk about all the things regarding what has been going on in America, because this is the main topic of the channel, I guess, given all the videos we've made about the situation with the 47th President of the United States. I want to make a video talking about my opinion on the Israel-Gaza situation, but I think I'll mix it with this one because you will understand my opinion very easily. Let's start by a big news which came out yesterday, or 2 days ago. I think it was yesterday. Trump hasn't ruled out the possibility of a third term, and I see liberals freaking out. I see Democrats freaking out. We have to see whether this is possible or not. We have to see whether Trump will try to do this or not. Look, Trump is now 78 years old, approaching 79. As much as I think Trump has got more energy than most 78-year-old people, and as much as I believe he works 20 hours a day, I mean, we know that for a fact. All the people close to me talk about his work ethic, and they talk about it as something extraordinary, which it is. But you can clearly see that his energy has gone down. I mean, this is undeniable. His voice has gone down, and if you compare Trump now with Trump 5 years ago, it's not even close in terms of the energy of his voice. So we're seeing a decline, if we can say it in that way. I don't think there is any mental problem, frankly. It's not like Biden, who couldn't function anymore fully. Trump can still function as good as he could, I think, as well as he could. This is my opinion. I don't think he's mentally impaired, but he might be running low on energy. And let's not forget, Trump is 78. He will end this term with 82 years old. And if he ran again and won, he would end his career with 86 years old, which is a lot. So whether Trump will actually run again is a big one. And we have to see also another thing. We have to see how Republicans do in the midterms. Because if Trump wants to do something unconstitutional in order to run for a third mandate, he must have a Republican House and a Republican Senate. If either one of these two or both are Democrat, I highly doubt he can pull it off. But we will see. We shall see. But liberals are going crazy about this. Trump is Hitler. Trump is a dictator. Trump is X. Trump is Y. Another thing which needs to be kept in mind, in my opinion, is the fact that Trump says a lot of things. Trump has a strategy which is to basically say loads of stuff so people don't focus on what he does to some extent. He has this deceiving way of communicating. We can describe it in that way maybe. And it is very interesting. So will he actually do it? I think it's 50-50. It's a 50-50, truthfully. Now, is this unconstitutional? It is. Because the Constitution says that you can be president for 10 years maximum. That's what it says. I'm going to be wrong. And it says it can be president for just 2 terms. That's the maximum. The maximum is 10 years, as I said, because you can serve 2 terms. But if you served, like if your president dies and you become president after being vice president, and you do that for less of half of the term, then you can still be elected twice again. So 10 years is the maximum someone can be president, which is 2.5 terms. But you can't be president, you can't run for a third term after being president twice for 2 full terms. So this is effectively, as of today, unconstitutional. And to change the constitution, I don't know how much of a majority you need, but I think it's like 60 votes or even 67. It's either 2/3 or 60%. And Trump ain't got that majority in either the House or the Senate. So forget about it. And they asked him, what's the method you're thinking about? And he said, maybe run as VP with JD Vance and then become president yourself. Or maybe could just become Speaker of the House and then have the VP step down and the president step down and he becomes president. There are loads of ways. We will see whether he does. I'm not sure the Republicans will win the midterms, because the problem for Republicans is going to be the following. Now the Republican Party is totally around Trump. It's all about Trump. If Trump isn't on the ballot, some of his very loyal MAGA supporters will not give a crap about going out and voting. And if Republicans lose even at 5 or 10% of the electorate, they're screwed. So, and we saw that in 2022, where Republicans were supposed to win big, but they failed big, because the part of the electorate which only voted for Trump, it's not that they voted for Republicans, they only voted for Donald J. Trump. If he weren't there, they wouldn't vote. And they lost big. So it might happen again. So that's the big issue. That's the big question mark. The biggest threat to democracy we're facing in America is not this one, but it's another one, in my opinion, which nobody talks about. Because all the media information is controlled by elites and donors who happen to be Jewish. So the biggest concern, in my opinion, is not this. And this is something I spoke about. Let's talk about the Middle East now. Trump is threatening to bomb Iran, bombing like no one has ever seen before. And Trump likes to describe his foreign policy as peace through strength. But I might have to change the name to peace through sucking Israel's dick. I know this is anti-Semitic, but it is also true. Why is America going to war with Iran at the behest of Israel? What does America gain from this war? Nothing. But the problem I have highlighted throughout the course of the last months, and this is an issue which some people spoke about, especially on X, is the fact that Trump has been heavily supported throughout the 2024 campaign by Jewish donors, the likes of Miriam Edelson, who has given Trump a stunning $130 million, approximately $115 million. I don't remember how much, but it's still more than $100 million. And those are people who support Zionism. Those are people who support Jewish expansionism. And Trump needs to fight. If Trump doesn't want to go to war with Iran, he has to fight a very big battle against those people who won in the election, who bought in the election. If you believe that Miriam Adelson, however she's called, I don't remember her exact name, but she's Adelson, that's what I remember, her last name. If you believe that she gave Trump more than $100 million for him to just bring peace in the Middle East and that's it, you're naive, objectively speaking. And it's very simple to understand that he was not given that big amount of money in order to bring peace in the Middle East. Those Jewish donors want Trump to push Jewish and Israel's expansionism. It's very simple. And Israel's total control upon the Middle Eastern region. And the only regional power aside of Israel which can combat against Israel is Iran. And what will now Trump do? Strike Iran. Why? Because he's sucking Israel's dick. Plain and simple. This ain't peace through strength. This is peace through sucking Israel's dick. A useless war in a region nobody cares about in America. Yet, America's gonna enter the 57,000th war in the Middle East at the behest of Israel. Because let's not forget AIPAC, the American-Israeli committee, totally controls the Republican Party and the Democrat Party. If you look at the people in Congress who are like 435, I don't want to be wrong, but I think 4 seats are vacant, so it's like 431 now. If you look at the seats in Congress, like 3/3 of them have as their biggest donor someone from AIPAC. Well, it means that those people are under Jewish influence. Now, this may be anti-Semitic, but I think it's undisputable. But this is a concern I spoke about, and what's concerning is that Trump is prioritizing the deportation of Hamas supporting students to the deportation of criminal aliens. Guys, mass deportations are not happening. Trump deported as few people as Biden did on average in his first month. Trump is deporting as many as Biden, maybe. And fewer than Obama. Fewer than Obama! And this is not mass deportation. I wish he were carrying out mass deportations, because I support that fully, given how many illegal aliens are in America. I would support that, and I support that. But it's not deporting anyone, guys. Just the pro-Hamas people. And this is not a priority. And also passing laws to combat anti-Semitism, defunding universities because they don't support Israel and because they don't have any restrictions against anti-Semitism. Well, hold on a second. Hold on. Because this is an important part here. Isn't the First Amendment a thing? Doesn't the First Amendment say that the right of freedom of speech shouldn't be infringed? Something like that. I don't know it, frankly. But why does this only apply to everything but anti-Semitism? If there is freedom of speech, there should be freedom to be anti-Semitic, anti-white, anti-black, racist, misogynistic, homophobic. It's either all or none. But it seems like there is this big exception all the time. And it happens to always be the same. Foreign aid. Trump said in his speech to Congress, we have completely cut off foreign aid to all nations. Well, no, that's bullshit. Because Israel has got $15 billion since you got into office, and it's been what? 2.5 months? Is that cutting foreign aid, or is that sucking Israel's dick? I think it's the latter. Okay, we have stopped giving Ukraine billions, which is what Americans wanted. Fine. How about Israel? Israel's aid has tripled or quadrupled, I think. So this is what's going on in the Middle East. And what do I think about Israel and Hamas? Let me be clear, let me be as professional as possible here. Hamas is a terrorist group, undeniably. They have killed civilians. I'm not disputing that, never have I. But Israel is committing a genocide, a siege. This is not a war. I don't know anything about war. But when you think of war, you think of military, fighting against each other, tanks, bombs dropping. This ain't no war, this is a siege. There is a populace constrained and entrapped in an area which is being bombed and blown up. They're bombing hospitals, schools, refugees, civilians, with the excuse that there could be terrorists. And this is a really flawed and immoral and dystopian logic and genocidal logic. Genocidal. It is. Because it's like me dropping a bomb upon a school because a school shooter is in there. Am I going to kill 500 children to just try kill the one school shooter, or am I going to get in there and try kill the terrorist? What the fuck am I going to do? So, why are we justifying Israel's actions here? Why are we giving them a pass? This is a genocide. This is a siege. Now, I understand this gets you cancelled for some reason, which I know which one it is. We all do. But this is a genocide. This is a siege. Undeniably. And if you don't see this, you're blind, either intentionally or you're just blind. So this is what is happening. So I frankly do support the right of the Palestinians. I mean, you can say that Hamas are terrorists, which I agree with. But we can also say that Israel is committing a genocide. And we can also say that civilians do not deserve to be destroyed and killed. Can we all admit that children shouldn't die? What the fuck has she done? She's 3 years old and her limbs are blown off, begging for her death because her family has been decimated. Can't we all just say those things, or am I anti-Semitic? So if I'm anti-Semitic for saying this, I am the king of anti-Semitism. I don't give a fuck. Let me be clear. So this is what's going on. This is my opinion. And the question is, are you pro-Palestine? Are you pro-Israel? I tend to be pro-Palestine, but not in the normal way you'd expect. Like, I'm not going on the streets with the, like leftists do, with the Hamas flag. That's not my thing. But I tend to relate to them more because they're under siege. And effectively, this is not a fair fight. Effectively. And in war, at least, there is aid. There is no aid. The Palestinians are getting no aid whatsoever. They're being massacred. Guys, this is not a normal war. This is a siege. They have no aid. No aid is entering because they're not allowing it to enter. There is no electricity. There is no food. There is no water. There is no nothing. They're being destroyed. This is not a normal war. Please understand. This is a genocide, full-scale genocide. And we should call it out for what it is. Now, if you're paid by Israel and don't want to admit this, fine. But we need to be professional here. This is objectively a genocide. Undoubtedly. Next topic. About Trump. Trump is angry with Putin. This is a complex situation too. And this could really get bad. What is going to happen here? Well, I think Putin is trying to buy time. And I believe that in the end, a peace deal will be signed. Because I'm trusting Trump. I trust Trump on this issue. I do not trust him on the issue of the Middle East, because he's clearly compromised. But he might also have converted to Judaism. I mean, there is this rumor which emerged a few years ago that he had converted to Judaism in 2017. So now we can actually find a reason why he didn't put the hand on the Bible. Maybe because he's Jewish. I don't know, could be. So this would all justify his support, total support for Israel. Blind support for Israel. That's an interesting one. But regarding Putin and Zelensky, I think Zelensky needs to sign the Manuel deal, and that's really gonna get us ahead. But I think in the end, we will get a ceasefire, I think, within April, probably within the end of April. And then within June or July, within this summer, a peace deal will be signed. But it's a really complex one. But I do believe if there is a person that can do this thing, is Trump. But this is going to be a really hard one to pull off. I think he will, but I think it's going to be really hard. And especially, I doubt that Russia will never invade Europe or Western territories again. That's difficult. But let's see what solutions Trump finds. I want to trust him here. I trust him here, but this is a big one. In 2 days, the tariffs will be activated, and let's see if they work, if they end up working in the end. I think they could. But guys, I think we've spoken about enough issues today. Let me know your thoughts, and let me know what you think about the Middle East, especially because that's what I've spoken about mainly. So thank you everyone for listening and tuning in. It's a pleasure as always. Thank you very much, and see you in the new videos that will come out in the following days. Bye bye. Love you all.